Fred Tatasciore voices yet another big dumb idiot, like the Giant, Kill Cannon, Octoboss, Eve's dad. I'm sorry, that was mean. I'm fresh off the Adam Eve video. Anyway, Fred Tatasciore is a win.
All right, let's give the kid a break. His parents are getting worried. Only 8 after all.
The GDA thanks you for your assistance, and we assure you we're still searching for a cure for his condition.
Whoa, okay, wait. Cecil asked permission from the parents of the Giant to use their son as a training dummy for the most powerful superhero on the planet? Makes sense for this to be the same guy that planted an earpiece into Mark's head. Mark uses the technique that swimmers use when doing laps, doing a front flip and pushing off the opposite wall, except he's flying.
He'll finally live up to the name.
Ooh, this title card. First, we get this season's black on blue Invincible colors, then transition to the flipped version of his classic colors with blue on yellow, alternate Invincible colors foreshadowing the alternate Invincibles. Also, it shows how his ideologies and morals will have to flip this season. Also, John Paisano makes an Invincible theme that fits seamlessly into the montage song Go by the Chemical Brothers by literally using instruments that sound the exact same.
Mark's speed has increased 65%, and his strength 138%.
Here's a little clue as to why the alternate Invincibles aren't as powerful. They joined Omni-Man, probably killed Cecil, and likely never bothered to train since it was 2 Viltrumites against Earth. But since our Mark trained, he was stronger than the other Marks, and it's probably the only reason he even had a chance against Conquest.
I'm trying to give you the finger right now, and I can't. It's my favorite finger.
It's his favorite finger, Cecil. Can we do something about that?
This friendship is my favorite in the show by far, and I'm sad we didn't get to see more of it before.
I can disarm the lasers you sent. Now we're messing up the past. Technology this old is tricky.
Dropkick and Fightmaster are played by none other than Xolo Maridueña from Cobra Kai and Blue Beetle, and that casting was a no-brainer and could not have been better.
You're single, she's single. Obviously, you two have had the hots for each other since, like, forever?
Rex being a great wingman for one of his best friends trying to get with his ex. And also, I forgot to mention last video, the new hand makes him do the Spider-Man thing.
You're both my friends. I want you to be happy. And if it works, you'll owe me forever.
Priorities.
Multi-Paul?
The punny superhero slash supervillain names will never get old.
Get off him!
Not until he's dead.
I don't want to hurt you. Shit.
It makes you uneasy to see him do this, but he clearly doesn't want to, so that's good at least.
Kate?
Love that all of his multiples say her name, showing how all of him is completely focused on the fact that his sister is alive.
Wait!
No, Kate. Paul almost killed Rex. I don't care if he's your brother. He's going to prison. Now.
Mark isn't doing anything too crazy here. He's just taking Multi-Paul to prison for attempted murder, but the tone of his voice, the music, and the wide shot of all the dead Multi-Pauls tells us something's up.
And then what happened?
Mark plays catch with Oliver the same way Nolan did with him, and the fact that Mark's kind of the father figure in this situation strengthens those parallels the season's building to.
I made drawings of my costume, and I'm practicing my moves.
The fact that he drew himself in costume and practiced fighting is so endearing, and it reminds us he's a kid. And you probably drew your favorite superheroes in your notebook during class and tried to genuinely use the Force at some point, right? That wasn't just me.
We almost got killed together, so that makes us like,
Losers?
I was gonna say too hot to live, too cool to die.
Rex thought that he could just indirectly call his crush hot right to her face, and it worked. Well played, Rex.
Ain't nothing gonna stand up to us now. Family's back, baby. And unbreakable.
I mean, for a couple episodes, yeah.
And the fact that Oliver kept them a secret, I mean, that worries me.
He just wanted to surprise me.
Mark gives Oliver the benefit of the doubt more than Debbie, which I thought was interesting since Debbie's love for Mark is what made him not take over Earth. Now Mark's teaching Debbie to trust Oliver the way he does, and it's a good way of building up his loving side that's more like his mother, while also subtly showing the side that's more like his father throughout the rest of the season.
Mark and now Oliver are players in a game that involves the entire Earth and beyond. And like it or not, Debbie, you're a part of this too.
My responsibilities will always be to my family first, and that's never going to change.
This is the main thing that makes Cecil's side of the argument later more understandable. He needs to protect the country, and he only sees the big picture while not realizing the effects it has on the Grayson family themselves. He doesn't realize that the 2 superpowered beings in this household are still people who deserve basic privacy.
So you're only asking me out now because the other me told you how miserable she was?
That's not it.
Did you have feelings for me before you met her? Or are you only here because you feel sorry for me?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was meant to blow up in his face, but honesty is gonna do that sometimes, and the fact that Mark chooses to even be this honest is a win. Wow, almost the exact same makeshift costume that Mark wore when he started out.
Uh-oh.
Oliver sounds scared for his life, as he should be. He might have powers, but his mom's about to be mad at him, which is way worse than any supervillain.
It's my old friend's token diversity and gender stereotype.
I wouldn't talk generic mad scientist.
I'll ask him to start training you so someday you can be a hero just like him, as long as there's no more secrets between us. Promise?
I promise.
Aw, oh, be careful, Oliver. You can easily tear your mother apart.
We won! My dick's out and I don't care. Woo!
I did terrible things, but that was before. I'm better now, thanks to Cecil.
Better? You should be in prison.
Feel free to rip me apart in the comments, but for the most part, I'm on Mark's side over Cecil. But very slightly, maybe like 60-40. It's good and all that Darkwing's reformed, but he still deserves due process for his crimes. As for the Reanimen, whether they're from donated corpses or not, it doesn't change the fact that it's unethical and messed up that Sinclair also isn't in prison. I'll speak for Cecil's side more later on.
D.A. Sinclair's a genius. Darkwing cracked from fighting endless crime in Midnight City. You don't waste people like that, you reform them.
They murdered people. Rick still isn't right after what Sinclair did to him.
Sinclair's new Reanimen are made with donated corpses. Darkwing will never kill again. They both went through severe psychological reprogramming.
Again, I'm all about skilled people being reformed, but first off, they need to be put on trial for the things that they do. And second, it seems that severe psychological reprogramming could have been against their will, which is even more messed up.
You killed Angstrom Levy. Should I lock you up too?
You know that was different.
A man's still dead because of you.
And I think about it every single day. But he almost killed my mom and brother.
And yeah, Mark shouldn't be automatically forgiven for killing Angstrom just because he's sad about it, so that part of Cecil's outlook is totally fair, even if that argument loses its credibility because of Angstrom turning out to be alive.
You were trying to save lives, which is what I'm trying to do.
Another thing that makes Cecil more understandable. He doesn't care about morals and ethics, he's just trying to save lives regardless of how it quote-unquote should be done. You can't deny that that method gets more results more often sometimes too.
I am not leaving here without you.
That's a dedicated friend.
So that sucked. You're alive? Were you worried I was gonna die?
Second favorite friendship. Maybe it's because I've been watching Daredevil, but I'm getting huge The Hand vibes from this.
Well done, Force Fist.
Force Fist? That's his name.
I knew who you were the minute I walked in. Tip was a bust my ass. It was code for come stop these nut jobs.
Cecil's always been forward thinking.
Some of the gas drifted into the market before we could get it contained. 17, a fraction of what it would have been. We won, Cecil.
Ask the families of the 17 if they agree.
I love how this flashback shows the similarities between Mark and young Cecil. It makes them closer in our eyes, and it endears us to Cecil a little bit more before they're fully pitted against each other.
They're making up for their mistakes.
Mistakes, that's what you call it?
They just saved our lives.
Then let me express my gratitude. I don't work with criminals.
Badass good guy. Badass bad? No. Guy. Yeah, just badass guy.
You did exactly what you had to do. You brought order to chaos. Nothing more, nothing less. I told you before. I don't waste talent, I fix it.
And there's the big reason why Cecil believes in the reforming of people. He himself was one of the people given a second chance, and he wants to give that to others, even if it's in a way that's unethical and a bit misguided.
You can be the good guy, or the guy who saves the world. You can't be both.
And my entire point about Cecil has been perfectly summarized in this line. Ooh, love me some sweet, sweet match cuts.
You see things one way and you won't make room for any other view. You threaten people who disagree with you.
I don't threaten.
No, because you're scaring the shit out of me right now.
It's always great to see Cecil being honest about how scared he is, but Mark isn't threatening Cecil at all. He's just mad. I get being scared of a Viltrumite getting mad at you, but you can't call it a threat if it's not a threat. Oh, cool. Shot win all the way.
I don't want to hurt you.
I'm not the one who's gonna get hurt.
See, that's a threat.
Turns out we can transmit it to your earpiece. Not that earpiece. The one we implanted when you were in our hospital. The one too deep to reach.
And that's messed up.
You put a weapon inside me?
With what you can do, and after what your dad put us through, but...
You said I wasn't my dad. Did you even believe that?
Yes, Mark, and I still do, so stop being stupid.
Like I referenced in my Season 2 video, Cecil's actions don't really match his words. That's why he doesn't trust Mark at all, and that's why Mark doesn't trust him. Even though we know Mark would never kill innocent people or Cecil.
You gonna add a shirt to those pants?
I don't know. Are you gonna... Oh, wait. That's the old me. The new me takes your feedback before ignoring it.
Character growth.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my god! What are you... Stop it!
I love the idea of pulling the Guardians into such a personal conflict. I mean, I just love seeing Mark work with the Guardians regardless, but seeing them stand up against Cecil for this is great. 8 Reanimen. You know what else there was 8 of? Original Guardians of the Globe.
Rex, no!
God damn it, Rex!
Good on Rex for softening up the explosion a bit to not kill Cecil. They went there, and my eyes were so wide watching this for the first time.
But why didn't you kill him already? Then you wouldn't have to worry.
Oliver, we don't kill people. Not in this family. Never.
Okay.
I think the reason Oliver doesn't care much about human life is actually shown well in Daredevil, so I'm glad I'm covering these shows together. But the farther you are from the people you want to protect, the more likely you are to kill, because you forget how important human life is. Debbie has sheltered Oliver too much and not let him hang out with other kids and just be normal. It's to protect him, but he also doesn't get the chance to see that people that aren't his brother, Invincible, and his own mother are still important. He doesn't understand that every life is important. A lot of people have their own brothers they look up to and mothers that cared for them.
Cecil was right about Angstrom, though. I didn't mean to kill him, but I did.
Mark's still mature enough to realize Cecil was right about one thing.
The future me is still heartbroken over something that never happened 2 decades earlier. That's who I end up becoming?
Yeah, knowing you grow up with your whole life revolving around one person who's gone and, as far as you know, never felt the same way about you is a fair reason to be upset.
The Guardians are the best superheroes in the world. Yes, their sacrifice. If you children don't like that, get out!
Ooh, that's a great idea. Because I'd rather quit than work one more day with a hypocritical prick like you.
This whole argument scene is really well built up, and the Civil War vibes are so prevalent in this scene, as in Captain America Civil War, not the real one. But it's a cool way to separate the Guardians between mostly old and new, including Shapesmith with the same powers as an older Guardian, and Kate, who's engaged to an older Guardian.
Cecil let me live after what I did on Mars, and my bed is a race car? So, Cecil.
That's totally fair.
Sinclair's not in prison?
He should be, but Cecil gave him a job instead.
Okay, I'll admit a bit of an exaggeration from Mark, since it's less a job to get money and live a better life and more a job because we told you and we let you live, you maniac. But Mark wouldn't know this exactly, so it makes sense why he'd see it this way.
If you killed him, you'd be just like him. The world doesn't need more people like that.
It's cool to hear it from Rick, seeing as he has personal experience with Sinclair and the GDA the way Mark does, but as a victim instead of a hero.
Glad you're coming with us.
Oh, it just made logical sense, given the reality of the situation.
He's telling the truth, but Amanda just thinks he's trying to be all robot and act like it's not that big of a deal.
Just tell the girl you're leaving for her.
Good advice.
But there's something else.
Invincible is the most powerful superhero on the planet, and someday I might need him on my side.
You always were a cold fish, man, but I'll miss you.
Honesty and more friendship. It is just as cool to see not Superman and not Batman shake hands as it is to see the originals do it.
My name is Donald Ferguson. I'll be your number one.
Ironic, assuming this is also the first Donald before he became a cyborg.
He says he wants to help, so we'll let him help. For now.
Are you sure?
You saw how strong he is. As long as he saves lives, I don't give a damn about his motivations, but track his movements.
Cecil doesn't usually care about motivations, but he does still keep a close eye on people that powerful. But I can see how it's still unfair to Mark. Cecil kept cameras in his house only after he assumed Nolan killed the Guardians, but he still keeps that surveillance on Mark even when he's done nothing but prove that he's not like his father, until he seemed like he was.
So are we dating or what?
Yes. I mean, if you want to, I definitely want to.
Finally, after 3 seasons and 4 years of waiting, we get them together, but with it feeling more earned because of everything with Amber. Pretty sure Paisano scored this, and I was getting serious Detroit Become Human vibes from this, and he worked on part of it, so it makes sense. I also love that this whole opening sequence is made up of only music and no dialogue or sound effects. It kind of puts the focus on the two of them way more. And the way the music turns dark for us since we're in the perspective of the criminals. If we were watching like usual, the music would probably have sounded all heroic and triumphant. And a good reminder why some criminals do what they do. Obviously not everyone does it just to get by, more often than not it's out of greed, but I like the fact that it's even shown to us like this. The sound of that distorted, detuned Invincible theme shows up a lot more this season. The The part that kind of hurts the most, he didn't want to hit a kid, and Mark uses it as an opportunity to knock him out. But it's not like you can blame Mark either, since the guy is still breaking the law regardless.
I should probably tell you something.
You two are dating. It's okay. William told me.
Oh, almost had a little season 1 Amber in there until the mention of William. Here's a win for sticking to your guns and not making Amber a know-it-all again.
It's bigger than I thought.
That's what she said. Hey, wait, hang on. Sorry. Old me again.
So worth it.
When my parents discovered I had powers, they went all in on it. Suddenly, instead of soccer in the backyard, I'm learning chokeholds and bomb defusals.
At least you had parents. I got scientists instead.
Seeing origins that are less like the classic teen superhero stories, like Spider-Man and Invincible. But even after being raised in a government lab or parents who didn't want a real childhood for their kids, they've still turned out to be heroes and chose to save humanity instead of staying mad at it.
Just got the east side under control. The last thing we need is the kind of heat that breaking out multipole is gonna bring down on us. Okay, tell Liu, I'll take care of it. This one time.
I respect that Titan's trying to be an honest criminal and genuinely fix the city. He's not interested in this stuff with the order and all that. He's just helping people regardless of the questionable ways he does it.
I said we'd start training.
When are you gonna teach me how to fight? I've been practicing stuff I saw on the internet.
Now might be the time to compliment Christian Convery as Oliver. He acts and sounds like a 7-year-old, and I feel the same way I felt about Steven Yeun's line delivery, where it's kind of perfect.
Get ready, because Kid Omni-Man is here!
Ugh, it sucks because just like most kids, Oliver sees the best in the world, which is why he believes that they can forgive Omni-Man for what he's done. But it's just too recent of a wound, and as we see later in the episode, Oliver's head is not in the right place.
I don't know. Feels a little serious.
Yeah, kind of how I felt about it, but given the tone of the season, it's literally perfect. And I'm also just a sucker for suits where it's one bright color on black.
So all that stuff in Chicago, that was Nolan and Mark?
Yes.
And the new kid is from...
Another planet.
Both Debbie and Mark are honest this season in situations where you feel like they shouldn't have been that honest. Mark with Eve and Debbie with Paul. And I like that they're showing that honesty isn't always comfortable, it's just what's right. It's also more of a delayed gratification thing. If you're honest now, you save yourself the paranoia of hiding something and don't have to delay the inevitable for so long. Now with this, it's a little irresponsible, but it's implied that these two have worked together for a while, so I feel like Paul's trustworthy.
Are you guys gonna mate now?
I can keep secret. I once sold a house to a famous rock star and never told a soul.
Oh, yeah? Who?
Exactly.
Ah, well played, both of them.
But social media is referring to him as Invincible.
The Invincible joke was funny to me for the wrong reasons. There are so many superpowered beings in this world that seeing a slightly different colored costume makes people assume that it's a completely different dude. And now we actually get a full Guardians v Maulers fight scene to run the jewels? Hell yeah.
Never saved my life like that again.
Look out!
I mean, he did what Shapesmith asked.
You forgot about this one.
I just realized that Darkwing can only use the shadows that are already there, which is yet another really cool instance of limiting powers.
Holy crap! Mark's there!
I don't want you
He
to-
might be hurt!
The sweeter part of Oliver's character is that he genuinely wants to help Mark. Obviously, he wants an excuse to use his powers, but he's just a kid that loves his big bro.
You guys are in big trouble!
Watching this scene a second time makes me feel so uneasy. I don't want to see this adorable purple 7-year-old brutally annihilate 2 blue buff men. And you know when they alternate between tense moments, something worse than a broken jaw is about to happen.
Stop yelling at me for saving you! I saw the news and I thought you might be hurt!
Now for the Oliver and Omni-Man parallels.
He doesn't seem sorry or upset about it, just like my dad.
Nolan had thousands of years to learn that mentality of humans being meaningless from other Viltrumites, but luckily behavior like that is learned. It's comforting to know that as long as Mark and Debbie teach Oliver to care about human life, he's gonna be okay.
You lost your dad, but she lost her husband. Doesn't she deserve someone in her life? And who is he gonna tell? Who would even believe him?
Where would I be without you?
Probably still looking for Mount Rushmore.
Callbacks, some relentless optimism from Eve, which you know I'm all about, and these two just being cute.
Of course I'd care. I don't want you to die. I love you.
But think about all the other people on this planet. They all have friends and families who would be sad if they died. So just because you don't know these people doesn't make their lives less important.
Seeing it explained so simply to a kid is really satisfying. It's not that simple as we find out later in the season, but it's what Oliver needs to hear right now. Dude, seeing Mark go from happy to angry and then rushing towards the camera like that, I'd crap my pants if I was Angstrom.
And you don't have to make it.
I want to make dinner, Rex. I want to buy groceries, prepare a meal, and then eat it.
Yeah, for someone who's barely had a meal for herself that wasn't genetically engineered or processed, it makes sense to want to just make a normal, clean meal. The first sign that Ray is clearly tired of superheroing and wants a normal life.
Did I misread that?
No, you didn't. But please tell me that's not a glowing portal opening up next to our table.
You have no idea how much I wish I could say that.
They're just tired of it now.
Also, if it's a time machine, can't you come back later?
We only have enough power for this last trip.
Man, this show is good at shutting down plot holes for the most part.
Where can I stash my clothes?
Hey. Why'd I look so miserable? With time travel, it's best not to ask those kind of questions.
You know I love me some setup and payoff, and this is just a really funny example of it.
The legends say his brain worked better back then. Then something changed.
They tried to get us with making us think it was Thetis, didn't they?
Also, what's the king's name?
Ah, the royal guard coming in at the right time to preserve the reveal.
You left me no choice. It was the only way to bring you back. You should have known it was too much for me, especially after so long.
Ross Marquand sounds like he's genuinely losing it, and he really sells Immortal's pain here. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, right?
You left me here. You made me into this monster. How many more must die because of your mistakes?
Immortal twists the blame around on Mark for everything Immortal did wrong, the same way Viltrumites blame the people they conquer for the murder Viltrumites cause.
What kind of man lets others die because he won't act? Please! Enough!
A really hard moment for Mark, but ultimately, Immortal just telegraphed the lesson of the season. Sometimes it gets to a point that the villain needs to die for all of the people they've killed.
There's just one more thing you need to do. Hey.
So many questions, but I've learned to just not question time travel in media anymore.
And if you ever turn into a giant world-conquering dick, I will kick your ass.
Have you ever loved? We should go again.
While I like Feel It more as a song, I think I prefer the vibe of this montage to Your Man.
I'll be your man.
And the cuts back to every moment in past seasons where they felt something, where we felt something between them. Like I said, Mark and Amber happening made this relationship feel so earned, and I'm glad they went that route.
Have you ever loved? We should go again.
The fact that they're still in their date outfits and not in costume makes this scene hit harder too.
This is way too soon, but I love you.
I love you too.
The way they both knew, which is why they didn't seem too worried about telling each other. They know they love each other. Mid-credits halfway through the episode, you know what that means.
These shackles cannot hold him. These walls cannot hold him. For Alan the alien has grown very strong indeed.
Why do I have a feeling Alan wrote this?
A brief recap for those of you with short attention spans.
Well, you didn't have to call me out for my fried TikTok brain.
I disgraced my people. I betrayed my family. I abandoned my son.
Why did they not use a big
committed crime.
I love Alan, and that line felt a little bit too real. Was that improv from Seth Rogen?
So hands off him, but the other two, they're fair game.
Fair game. This term pleases me.
Michael Dorn as Battle Beast is perfect.
Was your betrayal worth death?
Yes, and I'm sad you'll never understand.
Oh man, you look terrible. Did you guys do this? That's not very nice.
It's not nice to do that!
I'll kill you for that. Is that a promise?
Loving the Craven parallels.
Nolan, looks like I'm going first.
Get away from him!
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, the power of friendship and a little deception goes a long way. That's not very nice, Alan. Teamwork. And oh my god, Nolan and Alan's team up had my heart rate going crazy high for some reason.
There are fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left in the universe. This is the Empire's most closely guarded secret. It's also why we can beat them.
What a way to end the mid-season finale and not reference that fact until, I'm guessing, next season. This one, however, is off to a really strong start, and it's shaping up to genuinely rival Season 1 so far. I know I said last video that season 1 and 2 are on par, but watching this season made me realize that 1 and 3 are on a completely different level, and I can't wait to cover the rest in a couple weeks. What'd you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments. As always, you guys are an absolute win, and I'll see you soon.